guys? Billy from Mad Max again, and today we're here to talk about my dog Bronson. Say hi, Bronson. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Say hi. Not really, he's just hanging out down here. Say bye, Bubba. Alright. But really, we're here to talk about the Burris XTR 1-8. This is the Gen 2. It's sitting on my Stormtrooper blaster right now. So before we get into that, make sure you follow me on Instagram at MadMaxGuns. As always, I'll put it under here, and just be on the lookout for some cool stuff coming down the pipe. Eventually it will come. But yeah, so it's in on the Stormtrooper blaster. Just a quick update, if you haven't seen the video on that, like the original video or two that I did on this, I don't really remember, go back, check those out. But so I changed, looks like one thing other than the optic. Got one of these Tango down grips here. I literally just found it floating around, or I bought another gun that had it on there and that needed to get switched out, but it was just floating around. And you see them on like 416s and a bunch of other like CAG guns, so I figured I'd give it a try. I typically like the vertical pistol grip, but I decided to give this a whirl. And shocker, shocker, it really hasn't changed anything. It's still pretty comfortable, and it all just matters if you shoot enough with it. But yeah, no, I like it's probably staying there in the foreseeable future, so I'm going to keep ripping with that. But what we're really here to talk about is it's like an underdog optic. Nobody really talks about Burris. To me, coming up when I started playing with guns and such, it came off as like the budget cheapo hunting scope, and then I saw a couple reviews on them and I didn't pay any mind. It's a Burris. A Burris is a Burris. I shouldn't say sadly, I'm gladly mistaken that is not the case. This is definitely an underappreciated optic, and they need to make a Gen 3 of it. And if they can do it in a 1-10, that'd be dope, because this is a Gen 2 1-8, and I believe the Gen 1 was like a 1-4, 1-6, 1-5, something weird like that. But yeah, the Gen 2 is a 1-8, and I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh, it's a perfect 1x magnification. There's a little difference when you're looking around with it, but it's pretty freaking close to true 1x magnification on the 1x. Pumps all the way up to 8. No throw lever, which is kind of a boner, but there is a little screw, so I guess you can put one in there, or you can buy one just like any other optic. Fixed parallax at, I believe, 150 yards. I'm not going to go crazy into the details of the specs on this, because you can go look them up. But I will talk about like pertinent information. Glass clarity. You got a little bit of shadow up on 8x, but nothing terrible. It is pretty freaking clear, edge to edge. It's Japanese glass. It's what you would expect for something at the price point of this. The original MSRP, I believe, was like $1,300, but the reason, and unfortunately, it is discontinued. But the reason I'm talking about it today is because you can still find it, like some overstock of it for like the $750, $800 range, which for this optic, fantastic price, because honestly, there isn't many optics on this level in that like $800 to $1,300 range that really like beat this. The illumination on this, everyone says the Razor's the gold standard. I've played with Razors before, but this is like blindingly bright. On a sunny day, you have it probably on 8, and it's still very bright and crisp dot. This one in particular is a second focal plane, which I talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you want to know why you would use a second focal plane versus first focal plane, go check that out. But this is this is second focal plane, and in the video I talked about why I liked it on low power variable optics. And in short, because typically in a low power variable optic you're on max magnification or you're on 1, and while you're on 1 the subtensions don't really matter, and when you're on 8 they do matter, and that's the only time they work. So that's why I do that. The reticle on a first focal plane low power variable optic typically aren't as crisp as a second focal plane. They're a little more convoluted, lot going on, and you can't really get them illuminated as bright as you could on a second focal plane. The Gen 3 razors seem to have that figured out, and that's a 1 to 10, so you're going to be using more than just, you're not going to always just be on 10 or on 1. There's a lot of gray area in there, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. Like I said, magnification, hella bright. The adjustments on this is a 10th mil adjustments. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but they're very crisp. Not super audible. But yeah, so that's really nice. And I love that the windage is covered. But this is a little less crisp, but the clicks are noticeable, but set it and forget it. The size, typical size for your low power variable optics in the 1 to 6, 1 to 8 range. I'm probably around 10 inches. Kind of heavy, 34 millimeter tube, so there's lots of adjustment. Not that you need it in a low power variable optic. You kind of, again, are setting the top. You're setting the windage for sure, and then typically you're setting the elevation, and you're just leaving it. That's why I said set it and forget it. But I've heard rumors. You hear people talking about light transmission at 34 millimeter tubes more. There's an argument out there. Remains to be seen. But typically, when I see a 34 millimeter tube, you got a more robust construction, and that is for sure the deal here. And lastly, color transmission is, like, I'm looking at my eyes. So there's, with the glass, it's Japanese glass. There's no complaints there. With the adjustments, fantastic. The magnification adjustment, also fantastic. Would like a throw lever, but you know, this is a little bit older of an optic. So Burris, if you're doing a Gen 3 on this, think about a throw lever. Ocular adjustment, ocular lens adjustment, focus, whatever you want to call it, reticle focus, same as everyone, every other optic pretty much said that and forget it as well. But pretty much the reason I'm making this video is if you're like me and you kind of ignored the XTR, whether it be for low power variable optic or like a longer range optic, if you get an opportunity to play with one or to buy one at a significantly lower price like this, like I said before, you can get these in the $700 to $800 range. Jump on it, because these are super high quality optics from a company that doesn't, you know, have that reputation. So check them out. I love this optic for what it is. I don't know if it's going to sit on this forever. I might go on the 308 or might go on the Scar. I don't know. But right now I like it on the 193 mount on my Stormtrooper blaster. So that's it, guys. I know this wasn't the most technical video in the world. I don't like doing super techy videos and going deep into the specs. That's kind of not my shtick, but performs well, great construction. I'm sure you could beat the piss out of it, and again, for the price that you can find them at right now, it is a no-brainer in my eyes. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, got something out of it. If you can find one of these, post in the comments below. If you've got any questions on this, I'll answer them in the comments below. And as always, if you didn't like the video, eat a dick. I'll see you next time. Now, if you're still here, that means you might want to support me. Check out the Patreon. I don't have that many followers on there, but I do post stuff as much as I can on there. A little stuff that you're not going to see on YouTube or Instagram just because it won't make it on there. And you get the videos, typically you get the videos at least a day early. Check that out. Patreon.com/MadMaxGuns. I'll see you next time.